The Gem Shop sources materials from all over the world. If you have seen some of our wide variety of material, like myself and many others, you may have asked yourself, where did you come from? How did you get here? Why do you look like that? My boss, Veronica, and I went on a trip to seek some answers. You're watching The Gem Shop's Rocks, Origin Studies for Authenticity. Our first stop was to the city of Houghton, the largest city in the Copper Country region of Michigan, where the Gem Shop sources, you guessed it, copper. Named after Douglas Houghton, the city of Houghton grew prosperous due to copper mining during America's copper boom in the mid-1800s. And to this day, copper products of all kinds are still being produced by metalworkers in the very same city, like copper splashes and copper sculpts. To see how this is done, we met up with Ken Flood, the founder of Keweenaw Gem Gift, at their Dollar Bay factory location for an inside peek of the process.
Hi, my name is Ken Flood. We started Keweenaw Gem Gift probably 1984. And we started off here in Dollar Bay, moved to Houghton, and moved to our other location in Houghton too. Production shops are here in Dollar Bay and over in Lake Linden. We're doing the copper art in Lake Linden, lapidary, foundry, everything like that is associated to the Dollar Bay properties.
Inside the factory here in Dollar Bay is where a lot of the magic happens. Stepping inside, the very first thing we saw was their copper furnace. The first step in the process of making all of their copper sculpts and splashes is to melt down copper to work with. This furnace gets heated up to 2200 degrees Fahrenheit to melt all of their copper spheres, scrap copper, or even copper pieces from past pours that didn't pass their quality check. No piece of copper goes to waste here. Let's watch Jeremy and Christina in action pouring up a batch of their sculptured copper.
I'm Jeremy Curtu. I am the manager at Keweenaw Gem Gift production shop in Dollar Bay, Michigan. So with the sculpture copper, we melt pure copper with no impurities in it, and we pour it into a bucket filled with water and straw. As it hits the water, it cools off into these freeform shapes. It's part of a process, or I guess a replication of a process that was done by other cultures to predict the future and kind of tell them how they, what their next year was going to bring. I was taught when I started here 20 years ago, and it was something that they had developed as just a way to use up extra copper.
And it's incredibly dangerous, I would think. You have protective gear that you're wearing?
Yeah, we wear old fireman's gear to protect us from the burns and the heat. Ken, the previous owner, was on the volunteer fire department, so when they get new gear, the stuff would be handed down to us. It is a dangerous process. You have to really have a partner that you trust and, kind of an understanding of what's going on next. You really have to know the process so that, they can read you, because you can't hear very well over the loud furnace. So yeah, it's a dangerous process that you really have to have a trusting partner.
Once the pour is complete and given some time to cool off, the buckets are drained and brought inside to be sifted through. After removing all of the excess hay, the sculpted copper is sorted by size, then coated in a thin layer of lacquer and toluene to prevent it from tarnishing and placed on a rack to dry. All of Keweenaw Gem Gift's splash copper is produced in a similar fashion.
Well, we melt different copper, either copper spheres or our scrap copper. We melt it down at 2200 degrees, and then we pour it out onto a metal slab into these freeform shapes as it cools, and then we run it through a process where we oxidize and polish it and get it ready for sale.
So your copper is being sourced from, is it the Quincy mine, or are there several different copper mines that you source from here?
For the smelting, we get it from all over. There's a lot of local collectors that we buy stuff off of. There's also some companies that make gravels, so they take from the old waste piles and they'll crush and then bring us, 500 or 1,000 pounds of crushed copper nuggets, we'll buy that off of them. Yeah, so it's sourced from all over the place, but none of the mines are operational, so it's all just individuals or companies bringing it to us.
So when you have the crucible full of molten copper, how many pieces of splash can you get out of one of those pours?
It varies depending on the size, but a full crucible, we're gonna get 40 to 50 pounds of splash copper out of it.
So the gem shop has actually sourced almost all of our copper that we have in our store from Keweenaw for several decades. So it's really fun to be here and to see you're continuing the venture of Keweenaw after Ken's retirement with Becky and Amanda. Do you see this as your job for the next 20, 30 years?
I see it as long as I can do the job. Yeah, I love doing it. It's always interesting, and it's very fulfilling. It's nice to work with customers that I've known for a decade or two. And yeah, I hope to continue it as long as I physically can.
After the copper is poured, it is scraped off the iron slab to be flattened. You may have noticed how warped this iron slab is, and believe it or not, it was flat at one point. This slab has to be replaced every few months. You can see just from this pour how much impact the sheer heat of the copper has on this metal plate, which is just insane. Once the splash copper is able to be handled, it is first brought inside to be coated with a greenish turquoise colored chemical called patina. Set to dry, then highlights are buff polished to expose the glowing solid copper underneath. Once all these copper products are tarnish proofed, they're all packed up and sent to Keweenaw Gem Gift's retail location in Houghton to be sold there or sent to companies like us.
My name is Becky Quinn. We recently acquired Keweenaw Gem Gift from Ken Flood, who has worked endless hours pounding the pavement, making this business successful over the 40 years. And we're very, very excited to continue his legacy on. The product that's being created here is very, very unique. Some of the work that Ken has produced over the years is even on display at the Smithsonian, and we are selling to customers all over the world. And it's right here out of Keweenaw Peninsula, Michigan.
On our trip, we saw a lot more than just how the products we sell are made. Keweenaw Gem Gift has a much larger variety when it comes to copper products. Another large quantity of what they sell are handmade copper ornaments. Located in a repurposed schoolhouse in Dollar Bay is another one of their workshops where these ornaments are produced in various different shapes and sizes. Made from cutout copper sheets, the ornaments are given brazed edges and are torched to change color. They are polished as well as sprayed on the back with lacquer to prevent tarnishing, and brought back to their retail store to be sold alongside the rest of their copper art.
So what's your favorite part of what you do here? What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite is polishing float copper. It's always different. There's different challenges with it. I think it's the most passionate product I'm most passionate about because I just love it. It feels very artistic. And
taking something that's naturally like a piece of float copper from nature, and then you're just bringing out the beauty in it by
yes,
polishing
yep.
the surface of it.
Just being able to have the opportunity to do that is a lot of fun.
Our last stop in the UP was to the Quincy mine itself. Established in 1848, Quincy Mining Company was an early mine in the Portage Lake area, producing a copper supply for nearly 100 years before mining operations ceased in 1945, and was designated a National Historic Landmark 44 years later in 1989. Quincy's number 2 shaft descended 9,260 feet into the earth, making it the deepest incline shaft in the world at one time. To this day, the 7 out of 92 levels of the mine that haven't been filled with water are open to tours to the general public. Although we weren't able to explore underground this time around, taking that tour is definitely going on the bucket list. Thank you for joining us on our journey through the Copper County of Michigan's Upper Peninsula. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave us your thoughts down below. We hope you learned something about the authenticity of our copper products here at the Gem Shop. And as always, thanks for watching.